Hello, welcome to Do It Yourself with Wayne. Today we're out here in our garden getting ready for some spring planting, early things. We're going to be planting our onions in this bed. This is the bed we had them in last year. They did very well. We're going to be getting the weeds out. We're going to be amending the soil, and then we're going to be planting our onions. And I've also got a neat little tool that I made last year to help poke the holes that the onions go into and get the spacing like we want it. So we'll be showing you that a little later in the video. But anyway, we're going to be straightening this up and planting our onions. At this point, we're in the process of getting the weeds out of our onion bed. And I just wanted to show you some examples of what we've tried and what worked and didn't work and what worked better. If you just try to pull these things up, those there are kind of loose, but see these over here, if you try to pull them up, it just breaks the roots off. Now another thing we've done, and I got 3 different kinds of forks out here. You can use any kind that you happen to have. But if you take your fork and just do that number, you can shake it and you can get a lot of the dirt off your weeds that way. And right there, there's not a lot of dirt left in that. We'll just throw that away. But that makes it a lot easier to get them up so that you can shake the dirt out. Okay, but what we found is working better for us is we just take the green fork, and these forks have different names. This one, I think this is typically called a grain fork. This is, I think, typically called a garden fork. And then that's typically a pitchfork. Don't quote me on those names. That's just kind of what we've called them over the years. But if you take your fork and just do that, and then we put them in our sifter. Now we built this sifter a number of years ago, and you can just do this number and it makes it a lot easier to get the dirt off your weeds. And see, there's not much dirt left in that, and there's a lot less trouble. If you're interested in a sifter like this, we did a video about building this some time back, and we'll put a link in the description to how we built this sifter. But if you do much gardening, we have found it to be a very useful tool for a lot of different things. And it's working great for getting the dirt out of these roots from our weeds. So we're going to progress on to doing the rest of our weeds. We're already almost halfway, not quite. And then we'll get on with planting our onions. At this point, we've got all of our weeds out, we've got our soil leveled up, and so now we're going to amend the soil some. Now this raised bed, it was new last year, so we're still amending the soil a little bit more than we would do long term. But I got 2 bags of composted cow manure, I got 2 bags of organic garden soil. Now these particular products are from Wallace Farms, which is a local farm, and I do like to buy local when I can. But I'm not saying that theirs is any better than anybody else's. It's just that they're local, and I like to buy local. So now we're going to open up these 2 bags. Well, we've got 2 bags of each product. We're going to spread those out, mix them in a little bit, and then we'll start planting onions. At this point, we've gotten started planting our onions. And this is the tool I wanted to show you that I built last year for spacing of my onions. Not that you're going to have one, but this is part of an old VHS tape stand for storing them. But all you need is a wooden board like this, and in this case I cut it so it's not quite as wide as my raised bed is this way. Okay, now drilled holes, 1/2 inch dowel, and I'll show you a picture of this up close. I put a 45-degree angle on the dowel so they go in the dirt a little easier, and then drive those into the holes. And like I said, your rows go this way, so these are 9 inches apart. Your individual plants in your row is this way, it's 5 inches apart. Now I'm going to show you how I use it. Now also on the back side, I got these boards, and as I show you how to use it, I'll explain to you what those are for. So I'm going to step over to the other side of my raised bed here. I'm going to show you how I use this. Okay, now we've already planted that part. I'll show you a close-up picture of that here in a minute. But to do this, I put it here, and then I step on it. That presses those dowels into the dirt good to make good impressions for where we're going to plant our onions. And now what I do with these parts, if you see where the end of the board is at here, that makes a little bit of an impression in the dirt too. I raise this up and I move it until the end of this board is where the impression of this was from the previous holes. That gets my spacing this way from my rows. Then I step on that again. And what that does for us, it puts these little holes, which is where we'll plant our onions. I'm going to do one more, and then I'm going to show you how I plant the onions. Let me just go ahead and get this one pressed in real good. All right. Now that gets us some more holes. Step across here. Now these are our onions. And they come in a bundle like this, and I'm going to let my camera lady zoom in a little bit, and we're going to get a closer up view of this. Now we've got the camera repositioned. Hopefully you can see our little holes here that our handy little tool made for us. And using the way I plant these things, I just take an onion set, put it in there, and pull the dirt to it. That's all I do. So this process goes real quick. Just stick it in, pull the dirt to it. Stick it in, pull the dirt to it. Stick it in, pull the dirt to it. That's all I'm doing. It's what I did last year and it worked great. Just like that. So that plants our onions. So now we're going to move on to fertilizing our onions. But first I'd just like to say, Do It Yourself with Wayne is all about teaching you how to do things yourself to save money. So if you're interested in saving money, subscribe to our channel. If you click like on our videos, share with your friends, and leave us a comment. We really appreciate those things. It also helps us grow to bring you more videos that can help save you money. So now let's move on. I'll show you how we fertilize our onions, and we're also going to talk about our drip irrigation system briefly, about how we water our onions. The recommended method for fertilizing your onions, as you can see where our rows are at, they recommend you make a row in between your rows and put your fertilizer there. You can see I've already put one row over here, and we'll be putting fertilizer there. But to do the row, I always just take my rake and use the handle of it, a little bit of a dirt clod there, and just come down through there like so, making my row. I may do this a couple of times just to get the row a little bit deeper. Get that out of the way. Something like that. And then we put our fertilizer in that row. And we don't try to fertilize real heavy to start with, because the stuff that we amended with will help a lot. We'll do something like that. This is 10-10-10 fertilized. When we were out shopping earlier, we couldn't find what we really wanted, but of the three numbers, this is 10-10-10. If the middle number is a little bit higher, that's a good thing. But you don't want the middle number to be lower. But then just take and cover that up, pull that onion out, stick him back in there. Do something like that. And that's all it takes. And we'll do all three, between all of our rows like that. Now I want to talk about our irrigation system. And we do have a video about our irrigation system that we put in. But basically what we got is these, and I forget what they call this, but anyway, right here, I've got my water coming up from my timer for my irrigation system. I got a valve here where I can cut it off and on. This hooks onto that, and then these are drip lines. Every, I think 8 or 10, 12 inches, pardon me, there's a spot that it will drip from. So we'll run those lengthways all the way down the bed, pardon me. So as we run our drip irrigation system, our onions get that good, watering every time the irrigation system runs. So that's how we water them. Pardon me. And last year this bed performed really well for us. We'll show you some pictures of last year's crop, but we're expecting good things this year, and toward the end of the year we'll show you how it worked. So at this point, I'd just like to say thank you for visiting. Do it yourself with Wayne, and we hope you have a great gardening season.